All right, guys, how's it going? Here's our review for our test tomorrow. So if you just want to take a look at it, make sure that your answers match up to mine, and you guys should be good to go. So let's see here. Our first question. Oh, I'm already writing. Our first question says to write the ratio as a fraction in simplest form. So as a fraction, we just take our numbers. So here we have 18 over 12. And if we're going to write that in simplest form, we are going to take a 3 out of both. Only if you take a 3 out, we're going to have 6 over 4, and then we can go even further and say that that is 3 over 2, that being our final answer. Now over here we have 5/4 to 2/3. Now the big deal here is you cannot technically have a fraction in the denominator, so you actually are going to flip this, so times 3 over 2. Multiply across, you got 15 over 8. See if you can take anything out. Turns out you cannot take anything out, I believe. Yes, you cannot take anything out, which means that your final answer is 15 over 8. That is your final ratio there. All right, 3 and 4 say to use the ratio table to find a unit rate. So the easiest way to find a unit rate, remember the definition of a unit rate means that it needs to be over 1, right? So it says that we want to do it in cost per song. So we know the cost, let's say it's $1.98 for one song. Or sorry, for 2 songs actually. So if we want to find one song, all we have to do is take our 198 divided by 2, and then you guys would do this on paper, but for the sake of time, I'm going to do it in a calculator. So let's see here. We have $1.98 divided by 2. Our answer is going to be 99 cents per song. Same thing over here. We want it in gallons per hour. So I'm going to take 42 gallons just to show you that you can take any one of these that you want. For 12 hours, divide the top and the bottom by 12. 42 divided by 12 is 3.5. So I would have 3.5 gallons per 1 hour. Now down here, 5, 6, and 7, it says to tell whether or not these ratios form proportion. So for all these, we're going to do our cross product. So we have 8 times 4, which is 32, and then 1 times 32, which is 32. So yes, those are proportional. Then we're going to do 3 times 10 and 2 times 30. 3 times 10 is 30. 30 times 2 is 60. 30 does not equal 60, so we would say no for this one. Then over here we have 428 and 7 and 16. 4 times 28 is 112. And so is 7 times 16. So we are good to go there. So we would say yes, those are proportional. All right, now to figure out whether these two rates form proportion, you are doing the exact same thing that you did up here, except they're not going to give it to you written out. So this first one says 75 miles in 3 hours. This one says 140 miles in 4 hours. The big thing here is make sure that you keep miles on top and hours on bottom. Don't flip-flop them because then it's not actually a proportion. Then you multiply across. 3 times 140 is a 420. And 75 times 4, yeah, is 300. These are not equals. So you would say no for this one. For your second one here, let's see. Can I move down a little bit? Oh, sure can. All right, so for 9 here, 12 gallons. 4 min, 21 gallons. 7 minutes. Multiply across. 4 times 21 is going to be 84. 12 times 7 is also 84. So the answer for 9 would be yes. For 10, 150 steps, 50 feet, 72, 24, 50 times 72 is 3,600. And then 150 times 24 is also 3,600. So answer for 10 is yes. And then for 11, 3 rotations, 675, 2 rotations, 730. Multiply. Let's see, 3 times 730 is 2190. And 675 times 2 is not going to be big enough because there are already 2 smaller numbers. So we would say the answer for that one is no. So the answer for 11 is no. All right, now moving down to 12 and 13, use the table to write a proportion. Now, like I said in class, technically on your test, I believe it only asks you to write a proportion, but we were practicing solving proportions on your test tomorrow. I'll tell you if you need to solve, but you at least need to know how to solve. So here we have $42, 6 hours, $56 for H. We do our cross product, multiply here, multiply there. Let's see, so we have 42H equals whatever 56 times 6 is. 336 divide by 42. H equals 8. Same thing over here. G over 4, 6 over 3, cross product property that. 24 equals 3G. Get G by itself, divide by 3. Divide by 3, 8 equals G. All right, the amount of time needed to download music is shown. Find the unit rate in megabytes per second. All right, so how we are going to find the unit rate here is we're going to take any one of these we want. Really doesn't matter. Let's see. So we could take 12 and 4, 18 and 6, 24 and 8. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to take 4 and 12. We want it in megabytes per second, so we need our megabytes for first. So 4 megabytes, 12 seconds. We need to simplify this all the way, so let's take a 4 out of both. Then we're going to end up with 1 megabyte in 3 seconds. That would be our unit rate. Actually, you know what? When we do a unit rate, our bottom needs to be 1. So actually, 1/3, we know that that as a fraction would be, well, we just have 1/3 megabyte, but we would put that in a decimal, so it would actually be 0.33 repeating megabytes per second, if you want even further. All right, so 15 says the graph shows the distance that sound travels through steel. Interpret each plotted point in the graph of the proportional relationship. So first off, we know that it's a proportional relationship because it goes through 0. Remember that that's like our telltale sign there. So basically what it means by interpreting the point is like, tell me what 212 means. So 212 in the context of the problem, it means that it takes 2 seconds to travel 12 miles. Or here it takes 4 seconds to travel 24 miles. That's all it means. That would be your answer to 15. 16, it says you advance 3 levels in 15 minutes. Friend advances 5 and 20. Do these rates form proportion? 3 levels, 15 minutes, 5 levels, 20 minutes, cross product, 60, 15 times 5, 30, 60, 75. 60 is not equal to 75, so no. No. And then just explaining would just be show your work over here. Okay. 17, you spend 150 minutes in 3 classes. find out how many minutes you spend in 5 classes. So you'd have X, 5 classes, set them equal to each other. This one doesn't ask you to solve, but again, if it did ask you to solve, 3 times X is 3X, 150 times 5 would be 750. You would divide by 3 here, divide by 3 there. X is equal to 250, which means that you spend 250 minutes in 5 classes if you spend 150 in 3. All right. Sorry if you guys heard some jingling in the background. That was my dog. He's been running around crazy. But good luck with your test tomorrow, and I'll see you then.